All right. Welcome back to First and Mad here at Mad Maddie's in Las Vegas, Nevada, 8100 West Sahara. Make sure that you comment, like, or share our page and our show because it helps us build up our listeners and viewers. And I'm Brad Michaels. I'm joined again this week with Angel. And of course, as always, what the hell are you?
Yo, buddy.
What the hell are you wearing?
The guy from the streets. You know, it's there you go.
Yeah, what is that?
I am wearing what's
It's like
called
something I'd clean.
my gear. I support them when they were 1-15. We won 6 Super Bowl championships.
So did the
You
Steelers.
weren't even born for half of them, or all of them, or maybe 2, 4.
Yeah.
And I'm supporting you heard my prediction last week. Said
You're repping.
yes, I'm banging them out left and right. I got one more for you later on tonight, but I did say the 49ers would kick the crap out of the Eagles. I couldn't understand how that was a spread on that. Then I said the 2-10 Cardinals would beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, that's very nice.
You know, and I thought about
Pittsburgh, and then I
I'm
turned
supporting
around
my
again
Steelers.
and I told you, sir, that the 2-10 or 2-11 New England Patriots were going to win tonight, and it's now 21-10. So let's rock and roll from there.
There you go. What's one thing though, too, because tonight, if you notice, we're all representing our team colors at Pittsburgh Steelers here. We got whatever that
Steelers
is.
Nation.
Championship.
New England Patriots over here, and of course, Miami Dolphins right here.
Yes.
And Floody, you know what? You were right. You were the one that picked that Philadelphia 49ers game basically to be a blowout.
And it was.
And the rest of us, I think we picked it to be pretty close. I said the 49ers, I thought they were going to win, but I didn't
thought
expect
so.
them to just blow that game up.
Hello out there to our boy, Jesse, who couldn't make it in here. So Angel's setting in. He is a 49er
He is a
fan.
49ers
I
fan.
guarantee
Yes.
you he would have been on that pick last week if he was here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you guys all probably had it close, and I told you it was going to be a blowout. And
I had it very
was.
close just because it was in Philadelphia. I thought if they played in San Fran, it would have been a blowout.
Huge. It was
but
huge
it was just-
disrespect for Philadelphia, and they were all crying the blues. And who cashes the last ticket? The brother.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. San Fran's trying to get on a roll. Beware of them.
Oh,
they
they're
just
by
proved-
far, I think, the best team in the NFC and probably the best team in the National Football League at this point, barring
agree.
maybe Baltimore. We don't know. I mean, Baltimore had a hiccup. They had a bye week last week. They had a
It's
hiccup,
like
though,
cringe.
which that hiccup, by the way, has allowed my Dolphins to be the number 1 seed right now in the AFC.
Which is actually going to say right now is amazing, because if Jacksonville had won the other night, Monday Night Football, they would have been the number 1 seed.
And we'd be number
Instead,
2.
Trevor Lawrence goes down. He goes out with an injury, and we turn around now and see the Miami Dolphins, who can't beat a team over 500.
Oh, here we go again.
And sitting in first place in the AFC. It blows me away, and we're going to get to this a little bit. If he turns around,
Hey, here
That
we
feels
go.
Good.
all the
That
teams.
was
Thank you, Steph.
Thanks, Stephanie. Stephanie turned on our ambiance lighting here.
Schittsburg. If for whatever reason it comes down,
comment after
you're not even making the playoff. The problem is
well,
here.
after tonight, it's 21 to 10.
Thank
Hey,
you.
they
And
just
ready
scored a
to
touchdown.
watch out that New England will score
We're
again.
driving the ball
Any
right
which
now.
way. When you turn around and look at it, this is the scary part. I like your team. I root for the Dolphins, even though they're in my division. If they turn around and host a game or they get the bye, the first game they play is going to be a team over 500. You
Of course.
gotta start winning those bigger games. And now you got a game coming up later on. When you lost to Buffalo, they were over 500. Now they're going to be close to the 500 line.
But we've still got Dallas coming up, and we've also got a road game against Baltimore. Right? And that's the key game for me. I'm like, hey, look, we're healthy now.
Yeah.
You know, you could say early on we lost to the Chiefs, Philadelphia, and then the Buffalo game. Okay, they were winning teams. We were on the road for all 3 of those. You know, granted, the Chiefs game, we were on the road. So we're the Chiefs. We're in Germany. We hung tough in both of those games, the Philadelphia game and the Chiefs game. I think we hung tough. we just made too many mistakes. The Buffalo game was just one of those one-offs where we just like, what the hell happened?
Well,
So we're going to see what happens.
Dealio is, and like I say, I root for the Dolphins. I root for you guys.
Yeah.
You're in my division. I'd like to see them do well. They need to turn around. Let's hope
And show they
doesn't
can beat
fight
somebody.
you again and show me you can beat somebody because
Yeah.
you're beating the teams you're supposed to. Yes, please.
Well,
Thank
and you got to do that. And we talked about
But-
it. These are the top 8% of players across the country.
right.
I mean,
But when you
it's
get
not a
in
bad
that
team in the
playoff
National Football League.
and you don't get the bye, where is that Baltimore game, by the way?
It is in Baltimore on, I believe it's on either Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's on Christmas Eve, I believe.
Oh boy! Look
I
out,
hope you
folks!
guys win.
Look out! Warm weather teams don't like in the cold,
and
Baltimore
especially the
definitely will be
Dolphins. We
cold.
do not play well in cold weather games.
And two, Baltimore Ravens are over 500. And they're playing both for the best record in the AFC. Watch out! We'll get to that one later.
It's interesting, though, that you mentioned that because somebody called in today to NFL radio on moving the chains. And they were talking about the Dolphins and their record in cold weather games. And they said, why don't the Dolphins just go up and practice in that cold weather? Is there some rule that's preventing them from doing that? And Pat Kerwin and even Jim Miller, he said, if they went up there, there are practice facilities afforded to them. If they went up there and they spent just 2 days acclimating themselves to that cold,
Mhm.
it would do wonders.
Why don't they do it then?
None of the teams actually do that.
That's
They're out
crazy.
there visiting our dispensaries and smoking something, folks. Let me tell
They
you.
don't live here in Las
Hey.
Vegas.
It's getting legal everywhere, folks. Enjoy.
Well, I tell you what, we want to move on to a topic tonight and get into some of the topics. And let's go to the coach's hot seat. We all know I'm going to say there's 2 and actually 3 at this point. Actually 4. I'm going to talk about it. I'll name them all right now, and then we'll talk about them. Let's go to Matt Eberflus in Chicago, Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders. You got Brandon Staley in Los Angeles. I almost said San Diego, the Chargers.
Yeah. It's
And then I'm going to come back to Antonio Pierce right here in our hometown, Las Vegas. So who do you want to talk about first? April?
I guess I'll talk about our local coach, the Raider coach. He has to prove himself, and
He started out hot.
Yeah.
Now he's on the hot
If
seat.
they don't go out hot, then he's not going to be coming back next
No.
season. Definitely not.
I agree with you.
They should have got rid of Chucky.
Should have never gotten rid of Chucky. Yeah, that was
Great.
Anyways, let's see how he does in the next couple of weeks. I think he might sneak one out this week. If he goes 500, wins 2 and loses 2, and he's in and out, he might get a little shot or a look at.
Maybe.
Let's see what he ends up doing in the next 3 or 4 games.
Maybe.
And see what happens.
Well, and of course, I talked about where Mark Davis has to be thinking at this point. You had a chance to hire on permanently your interim coach in Rich Bisaccia a few years back, and you didn't do that because you wanted Josh McDaniels, and we all know what's now happened. So is he going to make that same mistake, or is he going to go for the home run ball again and try to get one of these
Personally,
coaches?
depending upon what happens in the next couple of games,
Yep.
and if he turns around and sits there and see what coach is available. He's like the guy Jerry Jones down there. He wants a big name. He needs a big name in there. And who's available? Who's out there?
Well, let's think about this. And this is a
Rivera
guy
gets
that's
fired.
not on the hot seat. Well, actually, he is on the hot seat.
Rivera
Mike
coming
Vrabel.
here?
Mike Vrabel, Tennessee.
He might be a little bit.
He could be
on
one of
there,
those coaches that he might want to bring out here.
But and Mike Vrabel would probably fit well here. He brings that defensive mode here.
Yeah.
But it depends, Tennessee might say, you know what, we had a few injuries. We don't have a quarterback. We're gonna get something in the draft. We're trying to move around a little bit. Our defense is decent, and maybe they make him an offer that he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave his family, his kids, the home he's built down there, and everything else. But like I say, when it comes down to it, let's see what Mark Davis has to pick from.
Well, and there is
he's
some
not-
scuttlebutt. I saw an article earlier this week that
Dude.
there's a possibility he's talking to Rich Bisaccia and say, "Hey, look, you know what? I made a mistake. Come back."
And why
I
not?
don't think
Oh,
that's going
wow.
to happen.
Why not? But me personally, I would say, hey, Chucky, come on back here, second little. It's Chucky too. Bring it back.
Everyone loves
I would go for that as
Right?
well.
Like,
Yeah, you're still paying him.
The guy. I like Chucky.
yeah.
Whatever this crap. Whatever
He
the
was
shit
set
he
up.
went
It was
through,
the setup.
I
Well, what
like
about-
Chucky.
What about this name? I mean, this is a name on some of these teams we're going to talk about with their coaches that are on a hot seat. This is a name, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, he interviewed with Minnesota last year, and he said, "That's it, not going to try this." But then all the crap that's going on this year with Michigan, and we were filming practices or whatever it was they were doing. Oh, that reminds me, I did never mind. Just
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Cheaters,
the
deflate.
thing I don't
Don't
understand
worry.
about that.
Oh, good in the hood.
The main thing I don't understand about that is, look, you film teams all the time. If I'm going to play them this year, why can't I film them this year? Because a lot of things might have changed. Personnel's changed. Maybe their system has changed. I just don't understand that whole thing.
Quarterback team, Trubisky.
Uh,
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
I
It's very
My
awful.
boy
It's
Zappy
awful.
kicking your guy's butt tonight.
Zappy playing good. What has he got? 3
Yeah,
touchdown
I didn't
passes?
even know, like,
yes, sir.
yeah,
You
I
are
didn't even know
correct.
what his name was. but-
Mr. Michaels, you are correct.
Thank you very much.
It's all good.
All right, let's move on to
Elvis is in the
another
building.
coach on the hot seat. Obviously, we all know Matt Eberflus, Chicago, and he's done. I can't see him surviving. I think if teams are smart, they'll go on to Black Monday, the day after the regular season ends. He's going to get fired first. He'll probably be the first one fired on Black Monday.
I agree 100% with you on that one. On when it comes on Black Monday, let's see what he does for the next couple of weeks. But maybe he's saving himself for another team to pick him up as a coordinator or whatever.
Well, I think that's where he's going to have to go.
But
And you know,
I'll agree with you there.
the
And I feel
scuttlebutt
bad
is
for the
already
guy.
that they're going to move on from Justin Fields. But who else do they got? They're going to go with the rookie, the undrafted rookie. I mean, or they got a high enough draft pick? Are they going to get somebody out of the draft?
Looking at Chicago, and you know that's a major city in this country. They love their sports. They love to be sitting there, and they need winners. If you look at all the 2 baseball teams, they haven't done anything since the Cubs. You want to turn around and look at the hockey team. I love the way the hockey team looks. They have the best logo in hockey.
That's a great logo.
And the football are sitting there, and they drastically need a winner. So see what comes available. Once again, though, I keep hitting you with it. Who are they looking at, and what coach are they looking at? Are you going to take Ron Rivera when he
gets fired? I was just going to mention that. Ron
No,
Rivera.
I think Ron.
But he was a
is-
Bears player. We got to see.
Yeah, he
But,
was. But I think Ron and a few other guys, when they start getting long in the tooth like they are, and don't bring up Mr. fucking Belichick, excuse the F-bomb, but it is. Don't bring him up. He will leave when he is good and ready.
Well, maybe they'll just bring back George Seifert. I mean, you said long in the tooth that we.
Wow. And that's from a Dolphin fan, folks, that can't beat a team over 500. Come on now.
I just had to throw that out there because of
Watch
long in the
Belichick's
tooth.
Antics, like just today in the game on
Yes,
the sideline.
he's thrilled.
How crazy
He's
he
thrilled.
is. He's trying to rip his hat off. He's throwing his arms up.
Because he
like,
wants
Yeah,
to
and what the
get
hell
a
is with the
win,
snowball on
and
his
he's
head?
gonna beat Shippensburg. That's the whole nine yards. That's another win scotch in the belt, folks. He beats his team all the time.
Let's move on to Brandon Staley with the Chargers. Done or one more?
God, he's got such great talent over there. And
Love
that
it.
team, and I love the quarterback. I love Herbert. He's
Herbert's
a good
great.
kid. They got some great talent over there, but they get breaks just like any other team in the NFL, injuries all the time. And they just haven't gelled it all together and everything else. He's
There's something missing there. I don't know what it is.
But I can't pinpoint it either, brother.
Yeah,
I
they got
can't.
all the talent in the world.
Yes.
You look at the defensive side of the ball, you look at the offensive side of the ball, they just can't get
I
it
talked
together.
to Charger fans the last couple of years, they really liked this guy, and now they're all turning on him too.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if
but-
the owners and everybody get together and go, let's go try Johnny Bag of Donuts because I'm available.
You're gonna have to try somebody. You have to try somebody, and then that'll bring us to Ron Rivero.
I think poor Ron's going to turn around, and if they cut him, and they probably will, I think he's probably on one of those things where, okay, I'm done. Unless the money's right. And I don't think Ron Rivera needs the money. I just think if it's a situation that's close to home or where he might want to live and the money's right, and bring him in for a 3-year type of deal, maybe somewhere in San Diego.
Well, considering the fact that he could go
San
0-6 and still get paid for 3 years.
LA. LA Chargers.
Yeah,
turn
San
around.
Diego. I
know
always
he
say
can do
San
something with
Diego.
That defense and everything else. And he's got a good offense. See what happens. Yeah.
April.
Angel.
Same thing.
I'm an angel. I'm an
Angel.
angel.
Wow.
I like May better anyways. Angel's always flying on my shoulders.
Whatever.
Angel. Sorry. I don't even know why I said April.
I
That was
know,
weird.
right?
I've known you how long now?
Since April.
Since April.
Holy shit, Roman.
My
That guy
birthday's
got
in
something
April.
right over here.
I
All
just
right.
think
Tell us about
everybody
your
blames
Pittsburgh
them.
Steelers. You guys got rid of Matt Canada. I know we didn't mention him on the hot seat, but if the Steelers season goes awry,
Shut up.
South.
over there.
south,
Yeah.
awry, yeah, whatever.
Going
Just
south.
keep quiet. over
Mike
there.
Tomlin, hot seat or no? Does he get a pass? He's never had a losing season.
I'm a Bill Tower fan.
You're a big Who fan?
I just Tower.
She's a fan of the Who.
I think Tomlin.
Bill's been retired for the last
just listen to
20
me.
years
Just
of your
listen to me.
lifetime.
I don't think Tomlin makes good decisions as quickly as they need to be made.
He's
Like,
never had a losing record though. The
he
guy's
got-
had a
he
winning
got
season
handed
every
a winning
single
Super Bowl
year.
team from Bill Cowher. I just think he let the Canada thing go on for so long, and like tonight,
Well, what
like,
about
I'm
your
just
your quarterback
disgusted.
situation?
I mean,
You want in on this, Roman? Let me tell you something.
Trubisky should have been
The
taken
hair is
out.
getting a little blonde and getting a little
The
tight.
hair's always been
There's
blonde.
nobody going to get rid of Tomlin.
I
with
know
his-
that.
with-
I
he's
know
got a
that.
Winning
He's
record,
got a winning
correct over
record
here.
every single year.
There, Mr. Michaels. And guess what, folks? He'll be there. He hasn't had crap for offense. Guess what? Neither is my team. He's got a pretty good defense. He's in a tough division. And guess what? Tomlin's going nowhere. And what are you going to get? What's again the question? What are you going to get better? What is out there? What's better? I'll keep it.
I think Trubisky should have been benched
I'll tell
already.
you what, I keep Tomlin.
You
guys
think
are
it's
nuts
right
and
that
crazy.
he didn't bench
You got-
Trubisky
You guys,
and give Rudolph a chance?
I don't
tonight?
know. I said that earlier tonight. I said
Like, come on.
Rudolph actually would scare me a little bit because I think he could put up points.
He'd put
and
up
he
some
might
points.
be able to turn around and win this game.
And he was the
Exactly.
starter when
He hasn't played
Roethlisberger was out.
They haven't played him. There's a reason for it. But Bill Belichick, one thing you can say for him for his deal, he's always had Tomlin's number. And guess what? He's doing it again.
He's
tonight
doing it again
with
tonight.
crap. But what
He doesn't have Tomlin's number. We don't even have a quarterback. Okay.
Sure you do. His name is Mitch.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
You got a guy named Mitch.
I don't want to hear your crap. We haven't had a quarterback since Tommy left. Okay.
Come on.
In Pittsburgh,
No.
it's
Cam
the old
Newton,
it's the old
no.
sing
Mac
along
and
with
cheese,
Mitch show.
no.
Remember that? Sing along with Mitch.
Sing along with Mitch. She's over there. We haven't had a quarterback. Cam Newton? No. Sorry.
Mason
didn't work.
Rudolph. He
Mac
did a
and-
he did a
Mac
good job.
Jones, Mac and cheese? No. And I'm not really giving it to Zappy. So don't give me with Kabinski and Rudolph.
You don't have the
the
interception
red-nosed
queen on
reindeer,
your
folks.
team.
Guess what? Happy and Merry Christmas. Rudolph over here.
It's
Listen,
still
Tomlin's
it's
going
When you have a
it's still
quarterback in,
Pittsburgh versus New England. I'm just gonna get up and leave here.
How's it look on camera? Is that the L?
I had to do it that way.
we're still in the middle of the
Sorry,
game.
I'm moving and camera. Don't worry, I did predict that last week too, sir.
All right.
All right, where are we rolling?
Let's go ahead and move on. I want to talk about just some basic NFL topics. And a lot of it is, this is just to be the hot topics. A lot of stuff that's been going on in the National Football League, and I think everybody's talking about this, is the injuries that we see. And we see injuries every single year. This year, they seem to be a little bit more focused on them, or they're a little bit more serious. We've got Achilles injuries. We just watched Trevor Lawrence going out of a game. Now, he's questionable. He's day by day. It's not season ending, but he is in a huge brace on his knee, although it was a high ankle sprain. So now he's got the knee brace, plus he's got the high ankle sprain. The Dolphins lost Jalen Phillips. We almost lost Jerome Baker. He's week to week. Here's what I think. When it comes to injuries in the National Football League compared to years past, we were talking about this, me and some other friends this week. It's not that the injuries haven't occurred in the past. It's that they're more serious now because these players are larger and they're faster. You look at players that played in the 70s and you put them side by side with a player that plays today. There's at least a 3-inch height difference, and the weight difference is phenomenal. And then the conditioning. These guys are pumping iron every single day, and they're bulked and they're fast. I'll bring it to you, Angel. I got it right.
I mean, I don't know. I know we talked about this last week, and I said I think they target certain players, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, like in the 90s, even there wasn't this many.
Born?
Yes,
Okay.
there wasn't this many injuries. Like I just.
I don't know if there's so. I think
I
there
don't
was
know if
always
the
the
guys
same
back
amount of
then were
injuries because it
playing
is a
on
violent
an
sport.
injury when they shouldn't be, and maybe like it's like a sign of the times, like of how like people were tougher than I don't know.
I don't know if they were tougher. I really think it's the size of the player.
I mean,
and
it's
the
so
speed.
many injuries, so many.
Because you always, funny thing about it, you always had a lot of collisions. I mean, it's tackle football, it's professional football, but I think the size of today's player and the speed. I mean, they're starting to track speed, and guys like Tyreek Hill are running over 22 miles an hour on a play. You're running 22 miles an hour towards a defender that's coming to hit you, and he's running what, 15 miles an hour or better?
And they didn't track it back then, right?
They didn't track it back then.
So
These collisions are going to happen. They've always happened. I think here's where I'm going with this. I think the NFL is they keep trying to make the game safer for the players.
That's so
but
weird.
In so doing, we are transitioning to a game that eventually they might as well just hand every player on the team a black belt with a couple of flags on it, and here, go play flag.
So you think they're making them weak, kind of?
I think in because of the injury problem that we're seeing, I think they changed the rules to where it makes it not so violent of a game. And National Football League, pro football is violent by nature. Football is violent.
The guys from the 70s are way tougher, I think, than the football players.
Those are guys that played with,
even
basically
the
no face
players,
masks,
like
no mouth guards. I mean, Ray Nitschke had no teeth, and he'd stand across the line and wiggle. He'd wiggle his tongue at you through his teeth.
And one of my favorite players and hard hitting guys, along with what you mentioned, Butkus. Here's the scoop, and you are right. They are bigger, they are stronger, they are faster, but the collisions are the same. And back in the day, the guys would play with broken fingers and hands and toes and whatever they had that was broken. Go back to Jack Youngblood, played a Super Bowl with a broken leg. Guys today are a little softer, but it's quicker, it's faster, and things happen every which way but loose. And they cry to mommy that maybe I can't play today because I got a hangnail. Oh, too bad. Injuries are part of the game. What we saw the other night with Trevor Lawrence, so sorry, man. I like the kid. Get a haircut, but I like the kid. He seems to know the game, and he's coming along, and Peterson's doing a great job with him as far as teaching him the game and how fast it's come along and everything else. I give Peterson a lot of credit because he has won a Super Bowl, and he did do it with a backup quarterback, and he beat my Patriots on top of it. But the dealio is injuries are part of the game. You got to deal with them. You got to hope that you got to back up the next guy to walk right in on it. But
are the injuries more significant today, but playing on turf versus grass? A lot of the players are complaining about playing on turf.
Always, because the game was meant to be played on grass and natural grass and tear your ass up and come walking out there with brown mud all over you, snow-soaked type of deals. But that doesn't put fans in the seats to pay the bills, to pay these guys the kind of money they're making. So you build a stadium that's going to attract people. I wish they were more like the one we have here. Kudos to the Raiders. Kudos to Arizona. Yeah. They have retractable fields that go in and out, and maybe a little bit less injuries. But
they have sod fields underneath where they're growing sod.
Yes. And as the NFL and the Shield starts moving on, they want to protect the players. The players are what their money makers are, and they don't want to see guys get injured. But sometimes you go into a place like Indianapolis, and they have the
artificial turf.
You know what I mean?
And they're putting a lot more padding underneath it. But you played in high school, and you played in college, and you've obviously played on artificial turf. Do you remember stepping onto that surface back because you and I are about the same age?
Yes.
That stuff was hard, and it was like playing on concrete.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I remember playing. I was also a lacrosse player. I went up to Syracuse, the Carrier Dome, and they were one of the first places that had artificial turf, and it was literally like playing on cement. And when you slid, I still got the burns on my leg.
Yes. Really? It was like putting indoor-outdoor carpeting on your patio and then playing a football game on it.
They're trying to make it better right now. They take Nike's involved in on this, and they take the old sole of your sneakers, grind them up, and that's when you see that black stuff
flying up,
bopping around on artificial turf.
And the players are having fun with it because they'll drag their foot as they're scoring a touchdown just to show the trail.
Correct. And that's trying to eliminate some of the injuries. But for the most part, they're going to happen. The Trevor Lawrence deal, he got stepped on by his own tackle or not the end. Who's the next guy?
You tackle the guard.
Yeah. Boy, bro.
Hey, kudos to our producer.
Oh, yes. Main man back there. He takes care of us. But it was his man that stepped on him. Then he fell back and landed on it. Then he had probably about at least 500 to 600 pounds pounded on because
easily
his man fell on him.
And it becomes a
pile. The player fell on him and it piled up, and his leg was caught under him and his own weight. It's tough. You know what I mean? And he has, what you said earlier, a high ankle sprain. I think one of the quarterbacks that just got injured just had surgery, and he's out for the season on a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains are a lot tougher than lower ankle sprains.
Oh, God, they're horrible.
I can tell you from experience, when they're up there and high, I go up and go like this to you, and it hurts like holy hell.
You will fall over
and go down because
I've had one.
They're horrible.
It knocked me out for 16 weeks.
You can turn around and tape it up and support it enough to where you might be able to get by. Not so much movement, but you can pack as a quarterback in this league, sit in the pocket passer might be able to get by. I'm sure.
Maybe.
Other guys, Brady back in the day. I use a guy because I know he got a couple times there. Peyton Manning. They used to be able to step up at least in the pocket. They got quick arms, fast releases, and everything else. But when you turn around, and I like Trevor Lawrence, I hope he's okay. I never like to see anybody in this league get hurt.
No, we don't ever want to see any of these guys get hurt.
Steelers.
And especially the way that some of these guys have gone down. Yes. What about the Achilles injuries this year? I mean, the two most prominent Achilles injuries, obviously Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays in to the first game, and then Jalen Phillips, 2 weeks ago in New York. And both of those guys on that New York turf.
Yep.
All right. All of the players to a man tell you that playing in MetLife Stadium in New York is the worst field they've ever played on.
Really?
It's probably one of the oldest fields in the league.
Oh, it
and
is, absolutely.
It's tough. It really is. And sorry to see that they have to play on that stuff.
But we've seen a lot of these Achilles injuries, and I think it's funny though, because listen, as fans, just stop with the social media stuff. Ooh, he went down. That was an Achilles. No, it wasn't. There were players when Trevor Lawrence went down. There were fans when Trevor Lawrence went down. I mean, 5 seconds after he goes down and they're walking him off the field, are like, "Oh, that was his Achilles. I saw it on the replay." No, you didn't, doctor. Okay. You're not an orthopedic surgeon. You didn't see the back of his leg go wobble, wobble, wobble. You didn't see any of that. So just shut up. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my fellow fans, but some of you guys just go over the top wanting to be
Like armchair quarterback.
You want to be an armchair doctor and diagnose the player just because you saw a replay and because they said that, you could see the replay when Aaron Rodgers went down, you could see the wobble, and you could see it when Jalen Phillips went down. You could see the back of the calf muscle just wobbling. And so you knew what it was. These guys,
They're
you
not
didn't see this on replay. You're just like, oh, it was an Achilles. No, it wasn't. So just until you hang your degree on the wall, it says you're a doctor, a medical doctor, by the way. Don't just go and get your doctorate in art. Just that irritates me a little bit. And I want to ask you guys' opinions. I mean, we're all fans of the game, and we talk about stuff, and we're knowledgeable in the game. But I mean, do you ever just like bounce out there on social media and say, "Oh, he tore his Achilles"? It's definite.
I don't ever no. I never do anything like that. I don't post anything bad about my team, even when I'm very angry.
I don't post anything bad about other teams when it comes
but
to
I don't.
injuries or
I'm like,
anything like
oh,
that.
I know what's wrong with him. Oh, this is gonna happen. No, I don't do anything like that.
And Floody, do you ever, talk about Monday morning quarterbacks, not just the guys that now want to be a doctor, but the Monday morning quarterbacks that get up on Monday and they go, you know what, I think that the Steelers really should change quarterbacks.
Roman has seen me and heard me as I stayed in a Holiday Inn last night, and I am a doctor. Doctor.
He's not a doctor, but he played one on TV.
With my sidekick, Stephanie, go Brownies. Any which way, these people are a little bit off in their rocker and everything else. Wait till the professionals come out, tell you what the injury is and everything else.
Right.
You call it from the sidelines and a fan and watch it on TV. Yeah, you can say, "Ooh, it looks like Achilles. Ooh, it looks like an ACL, MCL, any kind of L, MCL, the rapper." Was it? Oh no, MD Run,
MC Hammer
Yeah,
is
MC
what
Hammer.
he's thinking about.
Anyways, wait till they come out. They are professionals. They are the ones that know. They'll turn around. You do not understand how much care these guys get for Trevor Lawrence last week to go into next week, and what he's going to get for physical therapy. It's unbelievable. They take good care of these guys, and if they're ready and if they think they can go, they will. But for the most part, they don't screw around. There's 2 or 3 team doctors just looking to see what this is, and if it's a real major injury that could actually have a guy's career. Now, Aaron Rodgers, we talked about pulling the Achilles. The Achilles sucks. Did he tear it? Did he pull it? Did he rupture it?
His was a
Those
complete
are
rupture.
all great questions. If he tore that thing completely and you have to have surgery done. I've ruptured mine. It sucks and it hurts. It's just kind of like pulling a hamstring.
Yeah.
You need 6 to 8 weeks to let that heal right.
To just be able to
For
walk
a rupture.
right. Yeah.
But for a strain, for a
Partial
tear,
tear.
but if it's ripped or torn, let me tell you, he would not be back out on that field right now, not even close. And we've looked at great athletes. I hate to use him. God rest his soul. He's dead, and I bag on him because I hate the Lakers. But Kobe Bryant, who was an awesome athlete and player.
No doubt.
And you're hearing that from a Boston guy. Screw you guys. He came back, but he was never the same.
No. Well, and Dan Marino, I mean, he tore his Achilles.
Yes.
And it's a good thing that he's there in that locker room talking to Jalen Phillips because he's been through this. And actually, he had a conversation with Aaron Rodgers right after it happened to Rodgers. And Marino said, you know what? He said, everything as far as medical purposes now, and the treatment is way better than when I tore mine in 93.
Big time.
But he said, even after my surgery and the rehab and everything, he says, I was never able to get the extension up on my foot because of that injury. It was they had him wearing a boot with a high heel, and you could see the heel would change as he was getting a little bit more accustomed to it. But they had to put him in
like
a high
Prince high heels
to make up for that difference because the Achilles didn't. They weren't Italian heels, by the way.
Oh,
So-
okay.
I wore a 4-inch platform heel.
Yeah.
Well, before you were born there, Missy, but you know, let me tell you, they're not easy to watch,
But coming back to, and I don't want to pick
He's
on
going to
on fans and people that are probably listening to the show or watching it, but I do see one thing, and I've mentioned this before. I think I mentioned it in our first or second show. There's a lot of fans out there that they're Monday morning quarterbacks, they're Monday morning GMs.
I hate that.
And they think they know everything about the game because, well, they listen to John Madden, or they listen to all these guys.
If you're hearing, wait a minute.
That
If you're
irritates
hearing
me
John
so much.
Madden right now, then you're hearing The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
We love John.
We love John Madden.
But
And I missed John Madden, especially when the Packers were playing, because you could hear John Madden, Brett Favre. Everything is great about this game, and then Brett Favre. He had a love affair with Brett Favre for some reason. I don't know what maybe it was just because he liked saying Brett Favre.
I like Stephen A. Smith. I think
That's
hilarious.
Hey, there we go. All right. Well, we've just been
I'm
canceled.
sorry. It's so funny.
Pittsburgh Steelers is 21-10.
What I was gonna say is I hate when I go on Facebook after the game and I have a lot of Pittsburgh fans, of course, because I'm from Pittsburgh. And when they'll post like 20 different things talking so badly about the Steelers, like, this is your team. Like, why are you doing this? Like,
well, and that's
just
another thing.
like-
I mean, you see these fans, they bash their team. Oh, I thought that was going to be a touchdown. They bash their
That should have
team.
been
And
offensive pass
What's
interference.
worse, though, is that you're all fans of the same team and you're all members of a particular group or
yeah,
groups
you don't attack
that
your
are
own
all
tribe,
fellow
for
fans,
God's
and
sake.
you're
Like,
attacking each other,
yeah.
telling each other, "Oh, you're stupid because you don't understand." Look, if you were so smart, you'd be a coach, or you'd be a GM, or you'd be in the front office somewhere, and you're not. So just be nice to your fellow fans. That's all I'm going to say on that one. All right, but
Love her.
we all do.
Oh, thank you guys.
We all do, even though the Steelers are just not doing anything. But it is 1st and 10. First and goal.
We're first and
It's
goal.
first and
The
goal.
Steelers are first and goal right
They
now.
might get
Let's hope
7
Trubisky does
points
not throw
close.
an interception.
11:51 to go in the
Jesus.
fourth quarter.
Okay.
21-10. First and goal, Steelers. Let's go. Oh,
Picked off.
yeah, lucky that wasn't a pick six.
I
Should've
know
been.
because, like, I know when he does.
Should've
Lucky
been.
that wasn't
He
a pick
didn't
six.
throw it. Your running back did that time.
I'm sorry,
And Tomlin's
Trubisky, if
going.
you're watching this, but
Tomlin's staring.
Trubisky rips it off. To
That
the
was a
wide
receiver throwing that.
Thank you very much, folks.
And lucky that was not a pick six.
We're very lucky.
Lucky. All right. All right. We got about a little over 20 minutes to go. Let's move on. Let's talk about what we think are going to be the games of the week. They scored. They scored touchdown. Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's sore, but I can contain myself.
All right.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Stephanie, that sucks.
I'll run through some of these games. You guys tell me if we want to talk about them. I think some of the games like the Buccaneers and the Falcons, I don't really think. I mean,
No, thank you.
that doesn't really do anything. The Rams, though, here the Rams at 6-6. They're in the mix of the playoffs in the NFC, and they're going to go into Baltimore to play the 9-3
Oh,
Ravens.
there's no way.
Is there a shot?
I
Is that
think
an
the
upset
Ravens are going to
special?
win for sure.
Ravens should
my
win that.
God. Yeah. The
Buddy?
Ravens are going.
Boom. Thank you. That was my pick of the week this week. West Coast team going to the East Coast playing at 10 in the morning. Watch out that the Ravens don't do what they did to Seattle a couple of weeks ago and whoop their ass. I gave it when San Fran went there. Seattle went there. I guess that whole NFC West has to go there. And guess what? I'd say the Ravens kick the dog caca out of them.
I think they're going to. And the Pittsburgh Steelers just went for
We
a
just-
2-point try, and they got it.
And
It
we
is
got it.
21 to
Oh.
18. We got a game, folks, with a
21-18
little
now,
over 11
so
minutes to
Game's
go.
not over, folks.
All right. Yeah, I
I
agree.
forgot
I
the
just I
Kleenex
don't
box.
see the Rams traveling across
No,
country
sir. I think the
and,
Ravens
and
coming
playing
off
a
a bye
Ravens.
week.
Yeah, they're coming
Correct.
off their bye.
I think the Ravens kick a little dog caca out
I
of
mean,
that
I don't
game.
want the Ravens to win, but I do think they're going to.
I don't want them to win either, but I think that they're
Yeah.
just going to kick the crap out of the
That's
Rams.
because you two guys get your teams in there.
Oh, I
You're still losing.
I need them to
Shittsburg.
lose again because we still have to play
Hold on a
them
second, you shits-
on the road. That's our only road game of the rest of the season
Don't
is
you think
against
that's mean
the
that he
Ravens.
said Schittsburg?
I'm so used to it. It's just like it's like
Are you a pot smoker, fucker? Jeez, come on there.
all right. Here's an upset alert. All right,
Where are we going?
we're gonna go with the Lions, who are 9-3, going on the road to play their division rival, the Chicago Bears, who are 4-8. Can the Bears play spoiler? Angel,
I don't think so. I mean, I think the Lions will win.
Bloody.
All right. So I looked at this game because I was at the sports book about a half hour ago and letting you guys know, because I always look at teams. It's very difficult to beat one team twice in the
a
same
season.
year. Now, these two teams just played a couple of weeks ago for Thanksgiving. If you can, folks, remember,
Mhm.
I think it was 31 to 26, 7 or 8. Don't
The
quote me on
Lions
it.
always
I
lose
forget
on
exactly.
Thanksgiving.
Here's the Lions won on Thanksgiving, Miss Muffet. And guess what? I think the Bears will play them tight and close. And Detroit just seems to be a little bit on the edge of being one of those better teams and everything else. So I think the Lions squeak this one out. Real close game, though. The Bears will
I think it's
hang
going to
in
be a
there with
very,
them.
very close
They
game.
hung in there with them Thanksgiving 2 weeks ago. Barely got beat. The Lions had to actually make a really, really good comeback because they were down in that game.
Yeah.
We had our last man standing contest here, and a guy had Detroit that I ended up winning, but I had to split it with him because he pulled that out. With 4 minutes to go in that game, Chicago Bears were up 24 to 12. And they turned around and came back, and everything else staked one out. I think Detroit wins the game, but in a real close game. I wouldn't bet it. I did not bet it.
I don't think I would bet this game. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with the Lions just because they're 9-3. They're balling. Dan Campbell's got them playing. I think the Lions will take this one. Let's move on to the 7-5 Colts. Okay, still in the playoff picture, and the resurgent Bengals at 6-6, and the Bengals are at home with a backup quarterback.
Go ahead, Blondie.
I don't want this to happen, but I feel like the Bengals are going to win the game. Once again, they're in my division. I don't want them to win, but I think that they might pull this one out.
I turned around the other night, and I'm sure you guys all saw the game where this kid for Cincinnati actually played very well. I think he was 31 out of 37 for 350 yards passing and everything else. And
He played lights out.
I can't even name his name right now. It'll come to me. But Cincinnati might have a little bit of extra. Let's win one for the Gipper type of let's win one for Burrow. And don't be surprised if Cincinnati pulls this game out.
I don't think it's a matter of them pulling this out. I'm going to give Cincinnati the edge just because the Colts have, they're 7-5, but they haven't really
Like a mediocre
been
team.
like world killers.
Yeah.
No, they
And
haven't.
I think that the Bengals have got a good defense.
Yeah.
They're at home.
Yeah.
And like you said, this backup quarterback, he played a very, very good game. What do they call him? TDR or
Yeah. I think the Jaguars,
Well, Jags lost their starting quarterback too. That was
that
on the
never
road,
helps.
but it was a little bit of resurgent. I can't figure out the Colts right now. 1 week they look great. The next week they look
we need to make
a
a
little
choice
sad.
right now.
Oh, I gave my choice too on that one. Cincinnati. Cincinnati wins a
So we all said
squeaker-
Cincinnati.
squeaker win out 28-27. How's that one?
And I was sitting here thinking when you were talking about how the Lions had lost on or won on Thanksgiving Day. Actually, the Lions lost on Thanksgiving Day. That's when they lost to the Packers 29-22.
You're right. It was a week before.
That's what I
that.
thought,
That's right.
right?
Turned
'Cause they
around-
always
they
use the
turned around and
on-
came back.
Bears.
So
And
yeah,
then on
you're right.
Thanksgiving they laid that egg because that game ended up 29-22 and it wasn't even close.
It wasn't Thanksgiving, but they did play the Bears.
Are you ready to apologize to me now?
Watching the Patriots put together.
Well, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking I knew what he was talking about, but it wasn't on Thanksgiving Day, and I had to go look it up.
Roman,
Yeah,
I will apologize for Pittsburgh for New England putting
That's not a good
together the
apology.
winning drive right now to end this game.
Oh my god.
Watch it.
That very well could be happening.
It is.
It doesn't look like that.
As I speak.
It looks like New England's 3rd and 10 right now.
Here's another interesting game this week. They're all getting interesting now.
Sure.
You have the Texans. Actually, wait, no, back up. We got the Jaguars on the road. Jaguars 8-4 going into Cleveland to play the
They're missing their
7-5
quarterback, though,
Browns,
right?
possibly missing their quarterback.
Possibly. Oh.
He's not practicing. He's been out there, but he's not been participating. Trevor Lawrence. He hasn't been participating in team drills. The Browns also, now they got Joe Flacco. He's their quarterback now. He played a decent game last week, but they still
The
lost.
Browns have lost 2 in a row.
And the Browns
They're
are at
not
home.
going to lose 3 in a row. They're going to win.
I agree too.
Yeah, I
I
think,
think
the Browns
it'll
will.
be a low scoring type of game. The Browns defense keeps them in there, and Flacco does enough. So he doesn't lose the game for them. He does enough for them to win. And they'll pull something out like a 17-14 game.
But all this year, I mean, the Jaguars, okay, yeah, they come into this game 8-4. They lost last week and they lose their quarterback, and he might not play this week. But the Jaguars, as good as they looked and as good as their record says, 8-4, they haven't played, to my opinion, they haven't played like an 8-4 team. They played more like maybe a 6-6 team.
Well,
right?
Once again, we knew they were a playoff team last year. They won a game in the playoffs from coming
With a
way
comeback
behind.
from hell.
Everything else, they lost their star guy in Trevor Lawrence. Let's feel them out and see what they're going to do. They probably will win that division. Depends upon who they have to play for the rest of the year. If they have to play Houston, if they have to play,
I think they played
Indianapolis.
Houston twice now, and they beat them both games.
Okay,
That was the
let's see.
significance of that game a couple of weeks ago
Let's
when I
see
was
if
coming
they
back.
have to play Indianapolis again after this. And who's the other team down there in that division? Tennessee.
Well, the Titans are completely out of it. They're what are
But
they?
like to
4-8.
play spoilers.
Well, yeah, when they
like to
could.
play spoilers.
And
They
we've
could.
got the Titans on Monday Night Football down in Miami.
There you go. And that's a game the Dolphins should
We
win because
Could
they-
win, but it's
they're
another one of
4-8,
those that we
folks.
could lose.
They're 4-8.
Yeah, I know.
What?
how I feel.
You know, go the Kleenex box that I gave her tonight.
Actually,
for-
you didn't
for
give me
The
one.
Steelers.
So you owe me
She
one.
can hit it. So, don't
I
cry.
feel like I'm sitting
The
pretty right
Titans
now.
Go down into Florida and take Miami, give them a game
They could.
because they pound the pill.
Well,
and they want to keep ball
if
control.
King Henry has a good game, but Miami's
Yeah.
run defense has been good.
There you go. Then that's a good match.
Miami's been one of the top defenses since Jalen Ramsey came back from his injury. The Dolphins have
hope
been
they
the number
step
one
it up
defense in the
and
league.
win the game they're supposed to win.
We have to. Well, that's what we've been doing.
Right.
There's a couple of other good games here. Vikings 6-6 on the road right here with our own Las Vegas Raiders, who are 5-7. I see the Vikings coming in and taking care of business in this one. And I see this as one of those games. We talked about it earlier. Antonio Pierce, the interim coach for the Raiders, he's going to need this game. Is the team going to step up and help out their coach?
I'm going to go for the hometown Raiders.
You're doing that, yippee, but I'm with her. I got a feeling. This Dobbs kid came in from Minnesota, sold it for the first week when he came in, and since then he looks like crap.
Yeah.
I had the Vikings on here Monday night. I think it was last week or the week before. They look like crap. He can't read defenses, and I guess you know what? I think the Raider fan and faithful come out and somehow, some way the Raiders pull out a win and start keeping Antonio Pierce's job looking better and better.
I think you're right on that one. And I'm going to go with the Raiders in this game as well. I like the Raiders at home. I like them for all those reasons. And also the fact that after that first game, Dobbs was lights out and then nothing since. Moving on to the 6-6 Seattle Seahawks, hanging on for dear life, but God forbid they've got to go into San Francisco and play the 49ers, who are 9-3. Angel.
Why do I always have to go first?
Hey, you're sitting right next to me.
I will help you.
You're sitting right next to me and you're going,
pull your hair a little bit. I'll help you out. Guess what? San Fran went into Seattle a couple of weeks ago, waxed them, and guess what? San Fran
I'm going to wax them again.
Yeah, it's something, whatever. I like, Seattle a little bit in the sense that they're tough nuts. They play hard, just like all the other teams do in the NFL. But this San Fran team is now getting on a roll. Watch out, folks. I think San Fran takes care of business.
I do too. San Fran?
Yeah.
You got to go San Fran in this game.
Yeah.
These games all get interesting. This time of year.
Wasn't it? Now that I go and tell you where to go.
I don't need you to tell me where to go. I say why am I always
I'm
first?
telling you,
Because you're right next to me.
I'm telling you where Schittsburg's going.
Just see, oh my God. Do you know how much money you owe me right now?
Right where I'm going after the show.
Probably like $100 already. Just during the show.
Patriots are winning.
Here's a good one, though.
Schittsburg.
They all get interesting at this time of the year. 6-6 Buffalo Bills at the reeling Kansas City Chiefs. I never would have said the Chiefs were reeling. They're 8-4, but there's something wrong in Kansas City.
Anybody behind me, any one of my Buffalo Bill fans want to come in and join me? Brian, did you come in, Brian? Brian Cusk. Anyways, that's a good friend of mine from Buffalo. I do not know what to tell you with these two teams because one week they look like they're going to be in the Super Bowl, and the next week
they look
don't even know if they're going
like they're going to get the first round draft pick.
It's a Taylor Swift.
Kansas City will end up somehow, some way making it to the playoffs. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills will. They're looking a little bit shaky right now.
I think Kansas City will
very shaky.
I know they're going to be. I know these teams look at each other. They look at the last couple of years. Buffalo was the team who was supposed to get there, but KC did. Yeah. KC won a couple of Super Bowls. KC got in there. Their team doesn't look as.
And Kansas City has hosted the last 5 AFC championships.
Correct. They will not this year.
They will not.
They will not this year. Somehow your Dolphins might get in there, winning the
or
games
Baltimore.
Or Baltimore. Jacksonville has shot their shots out. So KC, the AFC championship game will not be held in Kansas City this year if the Dolphins and Baltimore hold serve and win what they're supposed to win. It'll be in one of those two cities, warm and nice in Miami or cold and brutal up in Baltimore. But as far as this game goes, there's huge things on this game because if Buffalo loses again, I don't think
out.
Those folks are making the playoffs,
They're out.
folks.
They're out. With 7 losses, there's no way.
Now. And KC wins, they help their shot in trying to still try.
They're kind of back on track. Kansas City's back on track at that point. Buffalo loses one more, they're definitely out of it because they're just clean.
Defense with KC, they play well. Something about that Buffalo offense just somehow kills me. I don't know. This is going to be a really good game. Might be one of those games I told you before. Last team of the football might win this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is going to come down to. I think the Chiefs will right the ship on this game. Buffalo, they're not the same team we've seen the last 2-3 seasons. Something's missing in Buffalo, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Angel, what do you think of this game?
Definitely, I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Kansas City?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what the playoff implications are for this. I mean, the Eagles are 10-2, Cowboys 9-3. Obviously, the division is up.
Because Philly won the first game.
Yes. Cowboys take this one.
Dallas has been.
It's going to come down to divisional matchup or conference matchup.
Dallas has been playing pretty damn good ball at home. Dallas is
just like the Dolphins.
So they have a hard time with team.
They haven't beaten. Yeah.
And Philly's coming off that ass whooping from San Fran. This should be a hell of a
And then
game.
you got to go on the road, though, and play Dallas, which is always tough in Dallas. I don't care what your
Absolutely.
record is.
But this should be one hell of a game.
I think it's going to be a
really
great
do.
game. I think the Eagles pull this out by maybe a field goal.
I'm going with the Eagles.
Okay, very difficult, folks, to beat a team twice, and especially where you got to play the second game on the road
At their
at
house.
Dallas, in their house. If Dallas takes care of the ball and does not turn it over, I think they pull. They're a slight favorite. They're a 2.5 point favorite, and what worries me is about the Philadelphia loss last week. It's going to be one hell. This is probably the best game of the week.
I think this is definitely probably the game of the week.
Yes,
Actually, if you think about it.
And-
And that's it for really important games this week. I mean, the Dolphins, they play the Titans. That's Monday night. There's 2 Monday night games.
Actually, I've got
But-
2 Monday night games. Come on down. Roman comes in and sees me. Come on down on Monday night. Angel will be here working. 8100 West Sahara. Brad comes in. Come on down.
And I will be here. I will be here on Monday
If
night.
you could tell me, let's see, I'm going to put one out here. Stephanie will back me up. If you could tell me who won, don't say anything, the 86 AFC Championship game to go on to play, I'll tell you, well, was it 85? They played.
It was the 85 season. We played it in January of 86.
Right,
I
I'm
was
gonna
at
give you
that
two
game. And
things right now.
It's you guys,
Tell me
right?
who won that game, or tell me who gave the 85 Bears their only loss, because I was at the game. You already gave you a clue. I'll buy your first draft. Come on in.
that's an I love that because I was at the Bears game that year.
I was too.
I was at the last game of the season, and I was at the AFC Championship games. It's funny you were there
So I
because
got
we
you
didn't know
beat.
each other then.
I got you beat. I was at that one game. All right, I already know the answer. Dan Marino in the Orange Bowl back then when he turned around and beat
the Bears.
the Bears, and the Bears were going to the Super Bowl. There was no doubt
Nah,
about
there
it.
was no doubt about it.
But
It was a matter of whether
the
they were
team
going to be
get there
undefeated
was
when they got
supposed to be the Dolphins, and some team upset them, and they all want to call it. Oh, you were pointing. Oh, it was a hurricane, and that's how we lost. No, you turned the ball over so many times.
We did.
And you
We
lost
did.
that
We
game,
did. We turned the ball
and
over so many
on
times
be it.
that game.
And then I
And
went,
Nat Moore, if you're watching tonight's show, I'm sorry for this guy over here.
don't worry about that. We went in there with not Steve Grogan, the old veteran, who was the quarterback out of Illinois.
Eason.
Yeah, Tony.
You know what? It's
Eason.
funny though, because
And you know
Eason in that draft class of 83, I got to tell you something. I was at opening day in 93 or 94 against the Colts, and I used to punk Marino all the time. I would go down after the games. And of course, we won that day in that opening day. And I go down there, I'm on the sidelines, and he's getting interviewed by CBS. I forget who it was. And I walked down and I went, "Hey, where's Tony Eason?" And Marino just started cracking up.
I don't blame him there, man. Before that game, first of all, they should have started the old
Grogan.
fiery vet, Steve Grogan.
Steve Grogan.
And
I agree with you.
Would have only got beat by like 20 points instead of 30 points. So don't worry about it.
What was that Super Bowl? 46-10?
Yes, I think it was 46.
46-10.
So we only been 36-10. Don't worry about
But you beat the snot out of my Dolphins that day. Was that 35-13 or something? It was bad. And I was at the stadium, and we were like having a ball, and then all of a sudden it was over in the first quarter. We were down 14-0 before we even knew what was happening.
Boo hoo, boo hoo.
Calm down
And who
over
told you
there.
last week?
You don't know.
And I'm
Who
sorry
told
I
you?
interrupted your surprise for that, but I
Not a problem.
couldn't contain myself on that
Roman's
one.
giving us a signal. out
I know
there.
it is time,
A 2-minute warning.
and we all want to.
2-minute
We're gonna
warning.
sign out.
We're down to 1
We're gonna sign out because we are done.
Oh,
Tonight was a great show. It is 21-18. Steelers look like they're going to get it.
Where's this guy?
Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Brad Michaels for First and Mad right here at Mad Maddie's. And thank you, Floody. Thank you, Angel.
In the
And we'll
house.
see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week right back here on First and Mad.
Yeah. say that boy right there is touch. Do we maintain? Nah, not too much. Situation getting too hard to clutch. Yep, it feels like I fall and it can't get up. I gotta hold my head, man, I can't